today we're coming back part 3 of the Jason Aaron Punisher Max run. And I've stated before, I'll state it again. The omnibus is long out of print. It has yet to be reprinted. Not saying it won't be, but I haven't seen it on any lists. I'm sure eventually it may get one, although there's a lot of other Punisher stuff that needs to get out there. It's collected into trade paperbacks. It's a series of 4 that you need to complete the whole run. Those are slowly falling out of print, getting a little trickier to get, but they can still be purchased. You know, the one we left off last time, Punisher and Bullseye, the coolest version of Bullseye ever, they got in their big fight. They take the big tumble off the building. Bullseye's dead, we think. Punisher's all messed up, busted up neck, busted up legs. Cops come to arrest him. You know, Kingpin is still a free man, of course. He didn't do nothing wrong. Well, not the crooked cops know, but the Punisher, you know, he busted in on him. So he's been arrested. So we're this next volume that we're going to look at today, entitled Frank, this one is going to take place immediately after Punisher's just been arrested. He's in jail. Let's go look at it. All right, here we go. Number 3 in the Jason Aaron Steve Dillon collection. This one is Punisher Max. This one is entitled Frank. As I keep stating, the omnibus is out of print. You know, hopefully they reprint it. But the trades are also slowly going out of print. But I'm kind of going through them in order so you get the story if you can't find them. But this next one is called Frank. You know, it's going to pick up right when we left off. You know, Punisher and Bullseye both fall over the top. And Punisher is finally, you know, they had their big battle. And Punisher was arrested. You know, there he is. He's in jail. And he has got pins in his foot. He's on oxygen. His neck's all cracked. Broken arms, you know. And as he's in prison, he keeps having flashbacks. So this is actually it's a part of an origin story that hasn't been told. You see him here. He's in the infirmary. And, you know, he's getting ready to go home. You know, he's about to get discharged. And, you know, everybody, this guy's kind of telling him, you know, you like this. You like killing people, you know. And he's, okay, you know, and now we cut and there's, you know, we didn't see nothing. So now there's people, they know the Punisher's in their prison, random gangs and everything. And they're like, we're going to take the Punisher out, you know. So you've got you've got this gang. Here comes the Aryan gang. They're all like, you know, we're going to kill this guy. You know, like I said, there's a lot of bad words. You know, you go and I say we go, and Punisher's asleep, but it cuts back and he's back in that infirmary here in Nam. Wakes up, it's that same crazy guy. He's like, hey, you know, why don't we, well, you want to be free? Let's just get out of here. You know, you coming? Because this other crazed war vet has just slit the throat of the doctors there. But before Frank can even say anything, he's just shot right in the friggin' head by the MPs. And Frank's just like, you know, if I wouldn't have got shot, you know, would I still be sitting here? So it cuts back. He's waiting in prison. You know, all the gangs, you know, get up, you motherfucker, and all that. And, you know, they're kind of scared. Even though he's laying there, and the Punisher can hear him because he's like, oh, shit, if they come in here, I'm screwed. You know, he's got a little shiv on him, but it's like, I can't do anything. And so the Punisher actually turns, looks at him, and they kind of get nervous. And I go, we'll come back when you ain't expecting it. So, he's kind of just got to go by his rep because he's at this time a little defenseless. We cut back, you know, he comes home from Nam, and then it's when he said, it's the living that's hell. Going to our next issue. Now he's healed up. He healed miraculously. And he's being thrown in general populate. Well, he's walking through Gen Pop, but they're actually going to lock him up in solitaire just because it would be a hassle. And, you know, cuts back to Frank as he's going in there. He's flashing back to when he was going to his home. You know, he's back from home in Nam, and he sees, you know, his home life. It's kind of referring to like when he first got back from the war, and he's in his cell. It's kind of the same thing for him. He even says he's a ghost in his body. He thinks about, you know, he's having food with the family. You know, the little girl wants to know if she can sleep in bed with the mom, but you know, she tells him, you know, Dad's in here now. And, you know, and the little girl, well, when's Dad going to go again? Like, oh, he's not going. And like, oh, he always goes. And, you know, he's just there. He's going through the motions of life. You know, he sees the kids having sex with his wife. He's just staring. But what he likes to do is look at his old war mementos. And he gets a job offer at a, you know, butcher shop, or a meat packing plant, I should say. And they're like, there's a lot of blood. Can you handle it? And he's thinking about, killing all these people with shovels and stuff. He's like, yeah, I can do that. And, he's doing his work and he hears some noise. This guy's telling him, he's like the owner's punk kid. And he's telling this guy, you better be licking my boots. You got blood on them. Lick them good and all that. And the guy's like, well, I need this job. And he's like, yeah, that's right. Then you better do it. And Frank don't like that. Doesn't like it at all. But he figures, I'm going to mind my own business. So, he says, I'm a husband and father. Goes home. And as you can see, he goes home. He's sitting there with his family, expressionless, just like he is, here in prison. And now when we get in prison, we see Esteban. He's one of the big gang leaders. Stabs this guard, hack, whatever you want to say. Stabs him right in the dick. Calls himself Big Jesus. And his plan was to be put in solitary by Frank. He wants to get to him. It cuts back and he's just thinking about how he's going to work and how this guy's just a dick, but all he's doing, like he says, he just keeps dreaming about war. And he happens to look, and here's our boss's kid again. He's he's the meat inspector. Let me do my job. Baby's harassing this girl. She tells him to get away from him. She pushes him, and his hand goes in the grinder. And he's saying to shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. And Frank just kind of acts like he can't hear him. He walks away. And he cuts home. Now he's feeling happy. This guy got his arm cut off. I didn't do nothing. Yeah, this is good. And as that's going, you see someone's watching Frank. At the same time, Big Jesus here is going in the cell next to him. Turns out the guy watching him is Nick Fury. When we cut, he's saying, they're coming for you, Frank. Whole fucking prison is ready in there, dog. Can't you say it? Cracking up on me, Frank. You're done, Frank. He's harassing him. And well, Frank's about kind of going a little cocky, or cuckoo, I should say. So he's hallucinating, thinking Nick Fury's in there talking to him. Fury's like saying, we can change the world. And so he's talking to Nick Fury, who's all in his mind. This Big Jesus is yelling at him, like, who you talking to? And, Frank's just sitting there. He's tired. He's, like I said, he's just kind of hanging out there. Now they're saying, have you guys seen Todd? And came back in today, and they couldn't fix his hand. The meat grinder chewed it up, and they hear a scream. Frank goes in, and it's the girl that pushed him in the meat grinder. She's dead. She's hung on a hook. And he just said, I knew this day was coming. And he sees it, and there's Todd. He's smoking a cigarette with his hook hand, very Rolling Thunder reminiscent. And Frank's thinking about it hard. He's got the meat cleaver. He wants to kill this guy because he said that's the kind of man he was, but that's not the kind of man he is anymore. Now we cut back to the prison, and now all of Big Jesus' gang is getting their weapons ready, and Big Jesus himself had a shiv shoved up his finger, so he's got it out. They're all getting ready, and we cut to it, and Frank, he couldn't work at that meat packing plant. He couldn't do it. He had to quit. So now he just washes dishes, takes out the trash, and the place he's at is a mob establishment. And, he sees the other mob. They're coming in. They're going to do a hit on this guy. But that's when Frank finally has enough. He throws a broken bottle in the one guy's head, guts out a guy's eye, smashes him. As you can see, he takes care of all of them. And, the guy's like, what's your name? Frank, you should come with me. I got a job. Working for me pays better than washing dishes. Like, I'm not looking for trouble. Guy gave him money, he threw it away, and then he sees Fury, and Fury's, hey, come on, you're not a dishwasher, you're not a family man. We know who you are. You can't live this life, and, come work with me. Cuts back here now again. Here's Big Jesus. He's got his shiv. He kills the two guards that came in to see him because now they're all going to make their move on the Punisher. And at that time, the guy that he saved says, come on, let's talk about your future. And we cut back here. Now it gets a little weird. Back to the Kingpin. Kingpin's still paranoid. I can't take a rest. He's not dead. But, the prison guard's like, he's going to be dead any minute. We got this taken care of. We're going to kill him today. And as you see, that Big Jesus' gang is moving in. Here comes the prison guard that the Kingpin sent to kill him. Now we cut back here, and this guy's, he's offering, come on, why don't you come work with me? And the guy's driver don't like it. And he's like, you tell that wife of yours to keep it warm for me, pal. So the Punisher breaks his nose. He's the car driver. He just wasn't a big fan. And the wife is saying, talk to me, why aren't you doing anything? Won't you open the door? And he's, I'm tired. There's no interest in her. The son's like, why is mom crying? She's fine. That's when he asked him, did you kill people in Nam? He said, yes, I did, but because I was fighting a war and the war's over. I won't kill anybody else, but now the mob guys are watching him. He's like, you know who this is. He calls him, pull your men out of my house. Say, I'm glad you came to your senses. We just need you to do a job for me. And, that was the plan. So Frank figures, okay, I'm a sniper. I'm going to snipe this guy. But Fury shows up and, he's like, yeah, you can't do this, but I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to make all your problems go away. Bap, bap, bap. He sends the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in. They kill him. Tells the Punisher, look, everything's good. Man, he still don't care. Now he's just thinking about all that time, he's calling Fury, but he's regretting it. He doesn't want to do anything. It's the same way he really doesn't in his cell. And, our guard comes in, and here he says, I've been thinking let's spend the day together as a family in the park. And at that time, here back in the real world, the grenade lands in. And now we go to our famous story here. He's having the picnic at Central Park. It was his idea. And, she's just, we're your family. You haven't tried. You haven't given us a chance. Bam. Bam, bam. Bam. Or as Black Yoshi would say in the SML videos, bap, bap, bap. Which I always say now in mic tests. The grenade comes in, blows up. The guy figures up. Got him. I'll tell the Kingpin. But nope. Apparently hiding under a mattress, if you're the Punisher, saves you from a grenade. So he kills this guy. And here comes all Big Jesus' gang. And they're like, all right, it's Big Jesus and the Punisher. They're alone at last. We cut back and, Cassie's home. He's at the funeral and Fury's there. I'm sorry, get out. What's that? He's like, I can protect you, but, do what you got to do. And then you come find me. And he's, fuck it. I'm packing up everything I need. My wife and kids are dead. I never was going to come back. Back to the thing here. Punisher kills a few of the gang members. He starts fighting Big Jesus, but it turns out Big Jesus was never there to kill him. But if you remember back in the first one when the Kingpin had all those crackheads run a train on that guy that raped him in prison, well, that guy was Big Jesus' brother. And he even says, my brother was doing a stint in Attica. He had a beef with some big fat white boy. Fuck the white boy in the shower. Instead of hitting back like a man, he went after my brother's wife. Yeah, the crackheads, he tells the whole story, and he says, and now I know it's Wilson Fisk that killed my brother, and nobody can touch him except you. Now let's get your ass over that wall. Cuts back to a flashback, and, Frank is, he's going to go pay this scumbag a visit here. Our friend with the meat hook, he just walks in, doesn't work there or anything, and he shoves his head. Apparently, we find out now this was his first kill, shoves his face into that grinder, chews it up. And he says, I was never going to stop doing this. And there he is in the Punisher shirt. And as we go to this, they're hearing about all the prison. There was a riot and everyone escaped. And, he had a tunnel, whole tunnel dug out. Everything was planned to a T. Punisher even says, he's like, Big Jesus wasn't lying. He had the tunnel dug. He had everything planned. He paid off enough people. The only thing he didn't plan was the fact that I snapped his neck. Because dying is easy. I did him a favor. And, so the Punisher's, he's out, he's escaped, he's heading down the street, and he's heading right to the foreclosure of his house, where he's finally come home. And by him coming home, that means we are leading up to the final chapter. But this one was the third in the series, Frank. Man, I am loving this run. And I've read it, so I shouldn't say I'm loving it. I loved it. Garth Ennis is second to none. I don't care what anyone says. Keep in mind, that's my opinion. It's Jason Aaron run. I'm putting immediately after it. The art's a little different than I'm used to. A little more comical, so to speak. It's not as gritty and like street level. But the stories are they're rough. I mean, this is a seriously adult title that Marvel did. It was a great run to the Punisher. And as you can see, he's bringing us to an ending. He's home now. He's escaped from jail. He's back at his old home where his family died. We've got one left to go through. And that's actually has a complete ending to the Punisher saga in general. So that's what I like. This story is going to bring a full conclusion. Now that was Frank. We're going to be back with the final chapter in just a few days because we do really need to bang this one out. But I want to thank you guys. You know, please subscribe, tell your friends. Let's get some chatter going about the channel, so to speak. But thank you so much, and I'm going to be back tomorrow with another book.